So what's next? Well, can you be honest about where you are at? That's a really hard question. Can you be honest about where you're at? Find your guys. I have spent time with nobody in the mentor list, either way. But I was intentional about it. I was looking. Find your guys. Make a plan today. We're going to get done early. So find some time today to make a list. Start a list. If you don't have somebody mentoring you, make a list of somebody that you could reach out to and say, hey, would you mentor me? Make a list of somebody you could reach out to and say, hey, I wonder if you'd be interested in entering into a mentoring relationship. You don't have to have it all figured out. They'll be like, I don't know, what does that mean? I don't really know. How about we just get together for breakfast or coffee or fishing or hunting or whatever it is you do, and we talk and we'll figure it out. But find your guys. It's find one up, one down, right? Find someone to mentor you, find someone for you to mentor. Be action-oriented after appropriate reflection. How's that for a vague sentence? Right? Because what's appropriate? You'll have to decide what your percentage is. But be action-oriented. It might be, I'm going to clean the kitchen for my wife. Or it might be, I'm not going to hunt as much as I would like so that my wife feels loved. Be action-oriented after appropriate reflection. Reflection without action is worthless. Because even deciding not to do something is action. I want to be clear on that. But reflection, where all we do is we think about it, that's worthless. But action without reflection is dangerous. Lead, serve, and protect. One of the things that I actually cut and put on the floor, so to speak, was what does it mean to lead? And just had a whole section on how do you lead? Well, you can't lead without serving and protecting. But then I realized really lead, serve, and protect is all of these other things. A leader says no and yes. A leader is constantly looking to make sure people are being mentored. And it's protecting people from bad mentors. A leader is constantly looking at the process for how they make decisions, because that serves and protects. A friend of mine says this: when we're living the valiant life, we see the good in life instead of belly aching about the bad. We dwell in a place of thankfulness instead of complaining. We like who we are instead of wishing we were someone else. We concentrate on what we have, not on what we want. We focus on celebrating things instead of critiquing things. We live in a state of contentment instead of comparison. We exhibit a spirit of joy instead of a spirit of jealousy. We believe the best about others instead of assuming the worst, generous assumptions. We function from a place of forgiveness instead of bitterness, grace instead of grudges. We focus on the strengths of others, not their weaknesses. If you want a good measuring stick for how well am I leading, serving, and protecting, just go through those. Do I do this? Yes, no. Yes, no. It's really simple and really hard all at once. But we have to talk about what this is for Christian men. The second video that I was going to show, Nick Freitas, does anybody know who he is? He's a former Special Forces operator, and now he's a senator from somewhere. He did a video where they interviewed a convicted pedophile, a repeat sexual predator. And they asked him, they're like, how do you pick your victims? Like, what characteristics do you look for in kids to decide if you're going to victimize them? Anybody seen this video? Do you know what he says? I didn't bother with the kids. You know what he looked at? Say it again. Close. One parent. The father. He said, I just wanted to see what their dad was like. And if he was dangerous, I stayed away. And Nick, however you say his last name, Freitas, says, there's two things that stands out to me about that. We should probably figure out what it means to be a dangerous father. But then we need to be around enough so that people who see our kids recognize that we're dangerous. And just as a side note, he goes, by the way, there's a lot of people telling you that the very things that make you dangerous are toxic masculinity, so we might not want to listen to them. That's free. That's not part of the curriculum. There's nothing more important. The stakes are never higher than what it means for us to be men. I'm convinced of that. It's not criminals on a TV show. I don't think it's even athletes. I don't actually have anything against athletics, but it's not athletes. It's guys just regularly showing up, doing the right thing, bringing good to the world by doing the right thing. By loving God and loving people. And we don't have to overcomplicate that. Never underestimate the value, the power, the amount of kindness that is just, hey, how are you doing? And paying attention, looking somebody in the eye and talking. I have a friend who every time he sees somebody, hey! And everybody walks away from him feeling like they were the only person that existed for the 13 seconds that he talked to him. That's kindness.